Hey YouTube, what is going on? It is Jax here back with another video, and today we pushed to top 50 global a few hours ago on my Twitch stream. We faced a bunch of good players, including Codigo, who is a CRL pro. We beat a bunch of counters, and I have one really nice matchup against a weird deck that looks like a 5k ladder deck, and it kind of is a 5k ladder deck. But I managed to read his cycle really well, so I think it could be good to help you guys know, like, if you know their cycle, you can make really weird pressure plays. So without further ado, we'll hop right into some of the matchups. Gotta scroll down a bit. I did a GC in between on my stream. So yeah, we have a game against Kickash here from SK Germany Clan War. We have Cody Go. We have a Golem game, a relatively even matchup. We have the weird 5k deck with where I read a cycle, and then we have a game against Charbel S here where I outplay a really hard counter. So make sure that if you guys like these videos to drop a comment, like, subscribe, all the good stuff, help my channel grow. And yeah, hopping right into the first match, we are against Charbel S running RG Skelly Drags, which is one of the worst matchups for Pekka at the moment right now. So he goes in with the Fisherman, and I go in with my Ghost. I had my Bandit selected, but I switched to my Ghost just because the Ghost will do better. It'll be a little bit slower, and it's always invisible, so that it's not going to cross the bridge, and the Fisherman won't eat it in. So here, I just poison his Skeledrags, and then I zap his Fisherman, and that allows my Ghost to finish it off in one less hit, and his Skeleton Drags die faster. So this is going to force out more Elixir on his end over here, and it is indeed. He plays his Skeletons into the poison, so my Ghost is about to get a hit, so he logs it. So here, I know he doesn't have his Fisherman and Cycle quite yet, so I go with my Battle Ram in the back. Starting my Battle Ram up was really important here, and you guys will see why. So he goes in with a Hunter in the center, where I can Magic Archer snipe, so I do go in with my Magic Archer. I play my Bandit really quickly, and he misses basically everything with the Fireball, and that kind of play can sometimes force your opponents to panic. So again, he plays his Skeleton Dragons. I zap those so that my Magic Archer can clean them up much quicker, and my Ghost will get more damage. And he goes in with the Fisherman. So here, I've got so much damage, but if I play any cards, I'm going to be down a good amount of Elixir here on this Fisherman. So I just elect to ignore it, and we're going to do the exact same thing, because if it ain't broke, why fix it? And that's exactly what we do once I hit 10. I'm going to go in with my Battle Ram, knowing he's only going to basically have a Hunter and Cycle here. And he does play the Hunter, and you guys will see in just a second, he fails to put it outside of Magic Archer range. So again, I just snipe. He doesn't even bother fireballing. He just goes in with an RG and a Heal Spirit. And this was not really a good play on his end, because I had my Pekka, and he had no way to answer my Pekka. So I go in with the Pekka. He does get 2 RG shots. Not the end of the world. We still have half of our tower remaining, and a full HP Pekka coming down, and we're almost even on Elixir. So he goes in with Skeletons to pull those, and then a Fisherman near his King Tower. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do anything about that Fisherman, so I just poison out his Skeleton Dragons. And then, unfortunately, I cycle my Ghost in the back at the wrong time. He goes in with his RG, so that Ghost isn't going to get there in time. I go with my Ewiz. Hopefully, I was hoping that this Ghost would splash the Heal Spirit and kill it before it could heal up the RG and kill my Ewiz with his, along with a Fireball. But unfortunately, it doesn't. So here, I go with the Battle Ram in the pocket to tank his tower right before my Bandit gets there, and he wasn't expecting that. So my Bandit dashes on to his Fisherman, and the Ghost helps kill it really quickly, and the Battle Ram is tanking the entire time, and then my Bandit will dash through, and I'm able to zap the Skeletons because he played him too late. So I play my Ewiz down low, a little bit of a mistake by me, because he's able to get some good Fireball value and not just alone hit my tower. So I go in with a Pekka on top of his Fisherman, and that is to help kill it along with the Ghost. I pressure with my Bandit, and he doesn't have any ground. He's going to have to play a Heal Spirit. I zap the Skeleton Dragons, just try and get an extra Bandit hit in to weaken them. So Pekka goes and gets 3 hits on his King Tower, which is really nice for me. So I just go with a Magic Archer, knowing that if he goes RG, he won't be able to Fireball. And if he goes Fireball, he won't be able to RG immediately, like same thing. So I go in with a Battle Ram in the back, trying to see if we can bait out his Fisherman. We do. So I play my Pekka right there, and that was just to make sure the Fisherman pulled it. I wanted the Fisherman to pull it. So here I zap. I don't want that Heal Spirit to do anything, so we just killed that Fisherman ASAP. And that push isn't going to do anything on his other side, but Battle Ram does connect to his King Tower. I play my Magic Archer. It's going to lock onto his Fisherman. He's not going to get anything down in time, and the Barb finishes off the tower for the final bit of damage. And so that matchup is really difficult, but it goes to show you guys, if you can control the tempo of the game, you can control the outcome of the game. I was able to know his cycle. And I was able to play cards according to that, and I was able to keep him from doing what he wanted to do because I was always doing what I wanted to do, and that allowed me to walk away with a win against a really difficult matchup. So now, going into the next game against Master Boss Z or whatever, I faced this guy a few times, so I learned how to play against his deck. But I'm gonna fast forward because I know we both just sat here. I'm just selecting cards because I was talking to my chat on stream. I was just unconsciously like selecting a different card. So I zap his tower, and he goes with a Pekka in the back. And this is really bad for me because I do not have my Pekka in cycle. So I have to go in with a Magic Archer, and he's going to end up playing a Graveyard right here. So I know that if I Pekka, my Magic Archer is not on his Graveyard, and I'm just gonna get destroyed. Like this, he's gonna take my entire tower, and I'm gonna have no counter push. So right here, I go with a Battle Ram Kite, and I wanted everything to get away. He's gonna end up NATOing my Magic Archer to finish the Battle Ram Kite, and we almost walk away with the defense here. But he freezes right at the final moment. Oh, did I speed up? No, I didn't. He freezes right at the final moment, and his Inferno Dragon does take my tower. Fine by me. I knew he was going to freeze. It was basically unavoidable that I was losing my tower, but at least I was able to force him into giving up his as well. So now we're into 1-1 versus Graveyard. It's a pretty good situation for me to be in. Also good for me as just like in general against his ground units. I can now pressure pretty freely. So here, I cycle my Ghost, and he's going to cycle an Executioner. And so the Xe is going to be really slow, so I know I need to play a slow unit so I don't give him a bunch of Pekka or Xe value. So again, cycle a Magic Archer in the back. And then what I do here is I'm just going to chill out. He's going to go with his arrows, so that's going to put me up a bit of Elixir. So now I go with my Battle Ram. And this is kind of where the outplay occurs. He Pekkas. Look at his hand. He only has a Graveyard, an Inferno Dragon, a Rocket, and a Tornado to stop this. So I go Pekka at the bridge towards his King Tower. I was almost not doing it, but now he doesn't have much Elixir. If he had gone with a Graveyard, it would have been a much better answer. So here I go in with the Ewiz, and now he's barely got his freeze back in cycle, and he's going to use it. But I have enough Elixir to zap. And now the Ewiz is still on his Inferno Dragon, resetting it. And now I go super aggressive. I probably should have saved this Battle Ram since everything was about to die. He's going to have to use a Panic Tornado. And I'm going to eat a good amount of Pekka damage here. That's fine. The Ghost will limit it, so that's not going to 3-crown me. So now we're in a really nice position. Knowing that he only had an Inferno Dragon in cycle, we're now at his King Tower is now at 1,000 HP. And so he goes in with his Inferno Dragon in that lane. So I'm going to go in with a Pekka in this lane. That Inferno Dragon doesn't really matter to me since he's going to have to freeze on defense. Unfortunately, I gave him a really value Rocket. That was a mistake on my end. But we go in with the Ewiz and the Pekka to retarget his Inferno, or not his Inferno, to get his Pekka off my Pekka for a little bit. And then we go in with a Bandit to finish the Kite. So now we have a really nice and healthy Pekka on his Executioner. And he's only going to have his arrows, so my Bandit is going to dash through, and we aren't going to get any damage off of that push. That's fine, though. We're playing the long game now. We have the 800 damage advantage. I have Poison for his Graveyard. I just need to play carefully, and we will walk away with a nice win. So here I try the same strategy, and I go in with a Battle Ram. And so here, really quick reaction time allows me to protect my Battle Ram and force out answers. And at this point, he doesn't have any ground. Battle Ram does connect. Xy's there, but that doesn't even matter. I zap. Ghost brings it to 1 HP, and a Poison will finish off the game. So he has a really difficult, like his ground answers are really good against mine, but he only has a few ground answers. So knowing his cycle was the most important part of that game, and I've stressed that so much. You guys are probably bored of hearing the word cycle, but you have to make sure that you know what they're going to play, because I was able to make a bunch of pretty good predictions there that allowed me to win against his weird deck. So now going into the next game, I was on call with a few of my friends, and they were telling me he was running a really different deck and that I should have pecked the back first play. Pecking the back first play, not usually a good option. So we'll go right there. This is just a rare instance of when I thought I could because I was playing a different deck. And we wait quite a while here. That's why I have it at 2 times. You can see we're just selecting our cards. And yeah, I'm not going to talk a whole lot until we make a first play. Should be in just a second. I don't think we waited much more than a minute. So we both have our tanks selected, and there I go with the Pekka. And they finally convinced me to Pekka. Or I convinced myself to Pekka. I can't remember even which one happened. But he goes with a Golem same lane, which is pretty good for me. An immediate Ice Wizard. So I Magic Archer in an interesting spot right there. Out of bar barrel range, pretty much. And it's going to be chaining as Ice Wizard. So now I go with my Poison. Because knowing if he plays another unit, it's just going to die. And the Magic Archer is there. And when the Golem pops, the Magic Archer is going to retarget onto his Baby Dragon. And now look at this. We have a Pekka and a Magic Archer already on the field. And we were both... I'm up 1 elixir. Like, with the Pekka and the Magic Archer on the field. So right here, this Dark Prince is going to take enough damage to where my Pekka will one-shot it. And my Pekka is going to one-shot his Barbarians. So here is where I have a really nice zap. You see how low HP my Pekka is? He's nearing 3 elixir. I was about to guess he was somewhere in there. So I have my Bandit here. She's dashing in. Boom. Bandit dashes in front. I hit him with a zap. And as you can see, this Pekka's one-shot by literally anything. But my Bandit is tanking for it. 930 HP. And he throws away an Ice Wizard thinking it was going to stop my Pekka. But it doesn't, and we take his tower. Small zaps like that can really make the difference. And as you can see, it actually was 2-shot, but it wouldn't have been able to get any damage if I hadn't done that zap. So I cycle a Magic Archer towards my weak tower. That's fine. He plays his Golem. I was a little bit slow on that Ghost, so I have to put my Pekka in front of it. It's all good, though. He's really not going to be able to break through. So now I just am going to go with a Battle Ram to pull the Dark Prince into my Magic Archer and try and keep his support off me for as long as I can. So now the Ghost is on his Night Witch, and I can just get a quick poison. His Ice Wizard is going to die. I zap just so that his Ice Wizard dies quickly, and yeah, he's not getting anywhere. I'm already back to another Pekka if I'd even needed it. But I go in with the Ewiz. He goes in with his Baby Dragons, and yeah, he's just trying his best at this point, but it wasn't going to work. We already had the game secured. And that was a really, really clean game, especially that zap. That zap is kind of what I want you guys to take away most. So, going into the next replay against Codigo. And this is Mega Knight bait. And for the long time, people have been saying it's Pekka's counter. And I don't think it's the worst matchup, but I don't think Pekka has counter. I think it's somewhat closer. But then again, I am really bad against Mega Knight decks, so I could be completely wrong. So I go with a Ghost, and I have to go in with a Zap here. And so at this point, I was thinking Mega Knight bait, because there's no more Mortar bait with Miner. It's all with Skeleton Barrel. And since he has a Miner, I knew he was going to be playing something other than that. So here we can get a really nice value Magic Archer. I go with it right here. And we're just going to have to let this Battle Ram die for now. Because, excuse me, if I had spammed anything else, it would have been a really easy Mega Knight. So here, I go in with a Bandit in the opposite lane. I don't want to bleed, and I don't want to play my Ewiz quite yet, in case he protects his Inferno Dragon. So I have my Pekka hovered, but I don't use it, so I cycle a Ghost same lane, just so that we have pressure on both sides. I quickly zap his Spear Goblin so that my Bandit can dash. I go in with an Ewiz, and this is a lot of Mega Knight value, but it should be fine. But it's completely fine, because I'll have enough for a Pekka, and even if he supports it, his Mega Knight is not going to break through my Pekka, especially since he uses only bats. Like with a Goblin Gang, maybe, but with the bats here, he's not going to get anywhere. So as you can see, he has the Miner selected. He just lets the push go, which was smart by him. And he goes with his Inferno Dragon. So this was a kind of a sketchy push for me right here. He does some really nice pressure. So he goes in with his Skeleton Barrel and the Miner, and as you can see, I'm desperately selecting my cards. So then I have to poison, and it's not going to do a very good job against his Goblin Gang. So his Inferno Dragon is going to kill my Magic Archer, and it's going to get a ton of damage on his tower. So I go in with my Zap here on the Spear Goblins, and my Ghost does get 2 hits. And he goes in with Skeleton Barrel, giving me a lot of Ewiz value. And we go in with the Ewiz. He goes in with a really nice Miner here, and he's going to get a bunch of damage because I predicted the back. And he goes in with Spear Goblins so that my Ewiz is distracted. So that was really nice pressure on his end. So at this point, I'm in full desperation mode. I have to do something, and I have to make it happen quick. So I go in, Pekka in the back, all the way in the corner. I do have enough time to do that. So he goes in with Skeleton Barrel. So at this point, I know my tower is a lost cause. So I go cycle a Ghost in the back, because I know it's going to be fast enough to reach his tower. Go in with an Ewiz. We go in with a Zap. Ewiz is going to eventually lock onto his Inferno Dragon here. So now I go in with my Battle Ram over here. and he kind of panics here. Doesn't know what to play once I Magic Archer. Magic Archer is going to clean up all of his bets, and he bleeds out a good amount of elixir here, and doesn't play his cards on my what's it called, my other push. So we are able to take his tower. Unfortunately, I don't get my Ewas down in time. If I had placed it correctly, we might have been able to save our tower there, and we wouldn't have even had to go over into overtime. But that's all right. It kind of slipped out of my hand on stream. You guys can see I said something about it didn't place right. So that's a value poison. It's gonna put me up some elixir. I know I'm up a bit, so I peck at the back here. And the reason being, just because I needed to start a push. So he goes in with Minor Goblin Gang. Not a very good Minor Goblin Gang on his end. I have my Ghost ready to go. Is going to come back and help with his Minor. So now we have a really nice elixir advantage. And pecking the back in this matchup is really nice when you know they don't have like a skeleton barrel, because all of their units are really quick and all of your units are slower, or Pekka is much slower than all of his other units. He can't really Mega Knight the back because it's really good for me. So I go in with the Ewiz and we go in with the poison, and I know he's going to want to Mega Knight on top of all of on top of all of that. So I go in with my bandit, and he's not able to get down his spear goblins in time. That's going to be within poison range. I go with a magic archer. Actually, it wasn't within poison range. Excuse me. So I go with the magic archer. I play my battle ram really high, and that positioning allows me to keep his Mega Knight from actually hitting my battle ram. And I probably would have been able to like survive this push right here in poison because there was only a few ticks. But the battle ram does connect, finishing it off, saving me the stress of knowing that I might have lost. Alright, so going into the final replay against Kickash, I think you guys can tell, but I've switched houses. Last night I ended up having to cut the recording, and so starting off, he's going to be going with some emotes, and I'm going to be having my bandit selected. He goes in with spear goblins, and I play my bandit right in the back of them so that she takes as little damage as possible. And he's gonna throw down a log, but she's gonna knock it towards his tower, so the bandit's gonna go over and get like 600 damage. And it was really nice for me, but unfortunately I played my magic archer right next to my tower, which wasn't a great play, and his skeletons get a bit of damage, one hit. So I could have played that a little bit better, placing my magic archer in the opposite lane so that he wasn't like getting so much value on my tower. So then he goes in with his Goblin Gang. Again, easy royal goes for me. I go with my Battle Ram to try and force out his mortar, and we do. And I was trying to get his knight out so that I could just zap any spear goblins. And so he does play his spear goblins, but unfortunately the knight and everything targeted my bandit, which wasn't very good because the bandit ended up dying even though he had like no answers left in hand. So that wasn't the best, but we end up moving on, and now we're up about an elixir here. So I'm just selecting these cards. We're gonna both wait until we hit 10 elixir or so, and I go in with a magic archer in the back and the opposite lane. And now he's gonna bleed out some elixir here before fireballing, so now I know I'm up some elixir. So I do go with a Pekka in the back. Because of how long he hesitated, I was getting back towards full by the time he was playing, so I know that I was safe to do this. So I go in for an Ewiz in behind my Pekka, which is gonna turn out to not be a very good play. Take a lot of skeleton damage, and then I tried to distract the mortar, but he's just gonna end up getting a really good Goblin Gang onto my battle ram that's gonna do absolutely nothing. And then my Ewiz dies to his log, which was not great. And then I pressure the bandit. That was actually a decent pressure, but he plays a really nice set of spear goblins. And unfortunately, the Pekka dies to the point where she doesn't get any damage, and the tower kind of retargeted while the Pekka was still alive. So try and go with the magic archer to hit all the skellies, but I played it way too late. So our tower's down to 1,000, and it's not looking good against a really bad matchup. So here he plays his musketeer, and I know that I was down until he played that musketeer, and then I was up. So I just played a Pekka, and then he goes in with his royal ghost, or not his royal ghost. He goes in with a goblin gang. I go in with my own royal ghost, and things are looking pretty good. So with the knight there, I knew that I was going to be up some elixir. The Pekka was getting a ton of value already. I sickle a bandit just so that I don't bleed zap his spear goblins, and then I go in with a zap or an Ewiz, excuse me, onto his skeleton barrel. So here he's gonna end up fireballing the Ewiz and the bandit, and now I was thinking, oh, we might have actually broken through here. He goes with a log. He doesn't have enough elixir for his Goblin Gang yet, so we are able to zap that, and we're going to get a ton of damage. And this is actually where the game ends. He tried to counter the Magic Archer. The Ghost survived at 1 HP and got another hit. And through the fire emote, we're down to 100 HP. So that just shows you guys never to give up, even though it looked like I was about to lose. and how to pressure against this matchup. We were able to break through even though we didn't think we would because we got on with low cards and hands. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if I'm a little bit quieter. I have to some other people in the house. Whoops, restarted the replay. But yeah, have a good day, guy. Have a good day and peace.